On the last episode of Dice Funk.
I'm turning on my rage.
Wow.
It doesn't even matter.
Wow.
It's a really strong tree.
The only thing that he can really do is hit things, and he's not hitting things really well.
We had one element on your sheet, which we earmarked for later. This was a secret you had about something.
Mm-hmm.
In this Zen state, you felt something,
Okay.
a presence,
Yep.
and you hear a voice behind you. You have to agree to something. If I tell you the story, you can't tell anybody where you heard it. Do you agree?
Yep.
Gods do not revive their clerics. Drop, and there's no such thing as a half-dryad. Drop. There is a doorway. It is in the middle of this room. It is almost as if it's a spider the size of a fist made of plant material.
Okay, then I'm gonna spend one of my key points and flurry of blows this motherfucker.
Arcana to infer if there's any magic related to what's going on with this thing.
Not only was it moving when Drop saw it, it was moving the last time Alias saw it, which is when he looked inside the chest wound of one Dr. Sherry, Knoll MD.
Yeah.
You
Is
sound
that-
like you're in, like, a bathroom.
I sound like I'm in a bathroom.
Yes, yes. You know how, like, bathrooms sound, like, a little bit echoier than, say...
Yeah. I mean, I know that that's how they do. Let me just...
I don't want to have to explain bathroom physics.
Bathroom physics is a good name for an episode.
It is.
All right, so last we left the party after a hard-fought victory in which everyone came close to death. I think Violet was the only one who really wasn't a roll or two away from death. A pretty perilous fight. You guys have emerged victorious. Drop is holding something weird and squishy in his hands. Everyone else is pulling themselves together. Let's look at the wound report. 2 of you were crushed pretty badly. Alias was stabbed in the back with some... I keep calling them splinters. Let's see. I guess they're splinters. But he was healed, so he's doing pretty well. Sheriff K was stabbed in the back, like in the kidneys with one. Drop was stabbed in the back. A lot of people were stabbed in the back. I didn't intend that. Turns out, kind of a theme. So everyone's pretty banged up, but you're all alive, safe, together, and take it away.
Now, we've already been led to where the spider thing is, or did Drop bring that out to show the class?
I brought it out.
Okay.
To show the class, yeah.
Yes.
I brought enough for everybody.
Okay, good.
Yeah, Violet tasted it.
Yes, and Vinny is still hugging Drop and is now covered in goo as a result.
So,
Nice.
Elise is going to be like, would you care to show us where you found that thing?
I'm gonna look at the thing, the pile of goo that I'm holding,
Mm-hmm.
and then kind of like turn and look behind me. I'm gonna gesture with the pile of goo. Follow me.
Are you just gonna keep that on you? Have you added it to your inventory, or is this just a showpiece?
I haven't yet, but at the point
Okay.
in time, it's kind of a showpiece. We'll see what I decide to do with it later.
Yeah, I'm excited. So let me describe the area a little bit more, because you guys were fighting, it was raining, it was chaos, so you didn't get a good look at everything. But now you look around, and this Glitter Gold encampment is like really ramshackle. It's like really spur of the moment. It seems like they found this place, gathered up some timber, pounded it into the ground to make like a little fence, which like there was a space for Drop to enter in. There's a campfire. People had thrown like their sleeping bags and stuff, and there's mining equipment. You see pickaxes, you see the magical fantasy equivalent of headlamps, stuff like that all around. And then the cave itself now this isn't like a cave you think was here in its current form forever. Like at best, it was like a bear's den or something. Like, in the forests, there's like changes in elevation, and then there's like where the hobbits hid from the ring wraiths under that tree.
Right.
Okay.
Do you know what I'm saying, though? Like,
Yes, I believe I've seen the movie.
I hang out in bears' dens all the time, Austin. I know exactly what you're talking about.
I guess my basic point is that there's not like this isn't a tunnel deep into the earth. It's basically like there was a change in elevation. There was a small cave here, and then something bored into it, in the way that area under the Glitter Gold Tower was bored into. And once again, it just doesn't go particularly deep. It's like a really gentle angle downward, and then it twists and turns a couple times, like an S basically. And then you guys are at the door, previously described in a large chamber. Circular chamber with the door in the middle, the door frame. I'm going to call it a door accidentally, repeatedly, but know that it's a door frame.
On my way there, I'm also describing what happened in terms of not, again, not where I got the information, as I was urged by the voice. But what happened. I'm like, okay, you're going to see it. It's going to be a door. And when I looked in the door, there was another place on the other side, and then when I got there, so I'm just gonna tell them what happened.
Okay, so to be double clear, you're telling them that you found this place and there's a door and the plant monster, but you're neither telling them about the voice nor the story it told you.
No.
Cool. All right, so you guys are all in this chamber.
Okay.
Just going to go up to so it looks like a door frame, but is it like against the wall and there's no actual physical door on it, or?
It's like in the middle of the room, isn't it?
It's in the exact center of the room, standing free.
Okay, so Lisa's going to just walk up to this frame and sort of pace around it a few times.
When you get to behind it, you don't see it anymore.
Oh.
What would be the back of it? You're just in an empty cavern looking at your friends.
Interesting. Okay, so it's only visible from one side.
Vinny's gonna stick her head in.
In through the door?
Yeah.
All right. I mean, you look around, you see this. It's actually gorgeous. In all directions, you just see this entirely different landscapes. There are mountains that reach up so high that it boggles your sense of scale. Like, you can no longer even comprehend. And like, you're looking up and up and up, and you realize like maybe there isn't a sky at all, and it's just mountains forever. And you look down and you see like fields of beautiful glowing crystals, and you look to one side and there's just shifting sands of deserts that seem to be alive with movement, and you look the other way and there are canyons like so deep that they just descend into darkness, and you're just appreciating all these landscapes, and it takes you a while before you realize you're not breathing, or you're trying to breathe. You're not taking in any air.
Oh.
So can you give me a Constitution saving throw?
Whoops.
I mean, I don't know if I roll to stay alive.
Hey, Vinny, can you roll to stay alive?
I can do my best. I roll a 12.
12. You start gasping and like grabbing at your throat, but you don't lose consciousness with a 12.
Okay, I'm gonna jerk my head back in.
You do.
Lots of rocks in there. Not a lot of air.
What? Alias just walks to the side of the frame where there's actually a frame and tries to infer a little bit about it with an Arcana check. See what sort of wacky magic we got going on here, possibly. 23.
23. You think this magic is hella wacky?
This
is the clowns of magic. These are magic clowns.
I take it as some sort of portal or...
Oh yeah, hell yeah. With the 23 Arcana, this is a portal.
Ooh.
This is a portal. It leads somewhere. It's hard. You can't determine exactly where. Obviously not anywhere you're familiar with, or I would give you that with this check.
Right.
Is there anything more specific you can narrow it down?
Alias is going to do what Vinny did, basically, but be a little bit more cautious about it. It's just sort of noting that she pulled her head back and was coughing and gasping. He sort of just glances back and says, if I seem to be under any duress, make sure to pull me back promptly.
You gotcha.
He proceeds to poke his head through the frame to see what's on the other side.
All right. And with your 23, I'm going to say you definitely know that whatever's on the other sides of the door, it does not conform to the exact same rules of wherever you are. You assume it's magic, but it's like you see rocks floating, which they don't usually do, and you see things that seem to defy physics. Like I said, things seem to go on forever in ways that hurt your head to look at, and there doesn't seem to be bottoms or tops to things where there should be. So if it's not magic, it's something beyond magic.
Right. So Alias will tug his head back and be like, This might just very well be a entirely different plane, or I know there are planes other than the material plane and the Feywild, but this may very well be just a direct entryway to one of these locations. Did I notice the problem with air when I took my head through that Vinny did, or?
Yeah, sure. If you try to draw a breath, you notice you don't get any.
I don't know if there's a way to safely proceed through, but this is certainly. Glances his head back in for a second, pulls it back out. Fascinating.
Lots of rocks, right?
Not just rocks that are suspended as if via thread or some other force.
Ah, fancy rocks.
You could say that, I suppose. Though, of course, it brings up to the question of what they are doing and how they're being suspended. Let's see here. Alias pulls out his book from the Adventures of Job, as it were, flips through. It's like, ponderances on peculiar planes. Doesn't seem to say much about exact planes and what they would have. Mostly, this is inane ramblings about why other planes aren't as good as the material planes. This seems a bit less insightful than I was hoping for.
Is Stab Daddy with us?
Yeah, I assumed that you guys kind of like put him up on your shoulders and brought him in.
Okay. Is he conscious?
He can be, if you would like him to be.
Yes.
All right, you can shake him awake, I guess.
Hey, Dad.
Hey, Vin.
What do you know about this shit?
It was a good door. You did a good job. Good door. Thank you.
Oh, geez, go back to sleep.
Okay.
All right.
Night.
Violet interrupts, like, sort of out of frustration, and says, "Look, I'm just a beautiful magic horse, and maybe I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about, but what does sticking our head between the door between worlds get us any closer to forming the airship Triforce? Because that's basically what I'm saying right now." And then Violet sort of like sulks in the corner. That's literally all I wanted to say. I'm done now.
Vinny's gonna go over to Violet and pet her snout. Hey there, friend.
Yep.
You okay?
Yeah.
Got something going on?
No, I'm okay. I'm in all kinds of weird realms and stuff, and now there's a hole to a bunch of other ones, and I don't know what's going on. And I'm not a planner, so I'm just gonna chill until someone figures out what to do with the vortex door frame.
To be fully honest, proceeding through does not necessarily seem like a good idea yet, unless you saw anything in particular here drop when you were around.
There's gonna have to be a lot of Constitution saving throw crits.
Drop holds up the pile of goo. It says, "Well, this."
Right. Well, I say investigating the rest of the glitter gold stuff that was around here might give us some information about, well, either what they're doing here specifically, or who knows, we might even find something about making our own airship.
I'm rolling for investigation, which is not good for Violet, but that's what she wants to contribute.
Alias will have Violet come along as official deputy junior investigator assistant.
It sounds like that might have been a bad idea.
Leon rolled 2 minus 2.
It's mostly a decorative title. It's less of an actual title with weight. So
I rolled a 0.
Yeah, you rolled 2 minus 2. What were you investigating? The door?
No, glitter gold stuff around us.
Oh, in this chamber or out at the encampment? I just want to be clear.
Anything glitter goldy around within Violet's eyesight.
Okay, so in the chamber.
Yeah.
All right, so you're looking around. You're looking around the inside this cave.
Look, let's not bullshit. She found nothing.
Let me tell you what you found.
Okay.
You're like looking down on the ground, looking around. You're moving your head back and forth, and you knock some rubble free with your horn, and it falls down on you, and you take 1d4 damage. With a 0, yeah. You pummel yourself with rocks.
Okay.
Austin.
Yeah.
Last episode when I was investigating the door, I took a piece of rock from the floor and I kind of threw it through.
Correct.
And I believe you told me that it hit the ground on the other side?
Yep, and just hit the ground like a rock would.
Okay, now, of the rocks floating in the air, are there any that are, like, within grasp? Like, any that, you could just, like, lean out quickly and maybe sort of, like, poke or grab or anything?
No, this doesn't seem to be a uniform property of it. You see plenty of rocks on the ground. There just seems to be in the distance some floating rocks.
Right.
It doesn't seem to be a thing that's like, oh, on this side of the door, rocks float. It's just like those couple particular, like, they're like islands. They're not just like handheld rocks.
Right, okay.
Yeah, it's just one of the many wonders on the other side.
I want to, like, what do the rocks look like?
There's rocks of every shape and color. There's red rocks, green rocks, purple rocks, black rocks, white rocks. There's sharp, small, big, round, soft.
Are there sparkly gold rocks?
Yep, there's gold rocks.
Got some grunge rocks over there, probably.
Yeah, heavy metal rocks. You got your progressive metal rocks, acid
Right.
metal rocks, sludge metal rocks.
Right.
I don't know where this joke is going, but yeah, dude, it's a rock smorgasbord.
Vinny's gonna roll investigation on the door. I got an 18.
That's pretty good. I mean, looking at the doorway itself, you see that the rocks that the outside are made up of don't seem to be any that you're familiar with. I think before, Drop asked me, I guess Johnny asked me, if they were the same stuff the ships were made out of, and I'm just going to give you for this investigation that you've seen now the Glitter Gold 9 and the Glitter Gold 6, and judging from the difference between the colors in that one, because the Glitter Gold 9 was like solid gold, and the 6 was like faded and chipped and peeled, so you assume that that gold color is not the natural color of that material. It's like a paint.
Okay.
And this is not that, as I told Drop. So if you were like, oh, we'll just find the gold rock, that's the stuff we're looking for. No.
Okay.
All right. I guess one consideration would be to see if outside in the encampment area there are any storage containers that might be holding things that look like some of the rocks that are past that doorway.
If you want to check through that stuff, give me an investigation. If you guys want to go outside.
You got it. 23 again.
Fuck me sideways, up, down, and left. Yeah, you just rifle through all their shit and you find some good stuff. One is some paperwork written in Gnome. Do any of you speak Gnome?
Nope.
No.
Let me double check.
No, I don't.
Yeah.
Boom! There it is.
Well, I asked for that one. All right, so you have some Gnome paperwork. If you want to add that to your inventory, cannot read it now. The other thing is you notice amongst the pickaxes and helmets and rope and whatnot, there seems to be a couple masks that have like weird primitive tanks attached to them, like air tanks.
Oh. I see where this is going.
So you find, I'm going to say, like 8 of those.
All right.
Try it on.
Does one of the masks fit his face if he tries to finesse it on?
Nope, not really. They're made for gnomes, so none of them are going to fit any of your faces in their current state.
Not even my tiny face?
No, you have a different cheekbone structure. You're a human. You're a human in everything but texture. Bodily speaking.
All right. Well, okay. Even if the straps don't work, could it be possible for Alias to carry one of them and just hold the part that goes over the nose and mouth just against his face by hand?
You might need to, I'm gonna have you make a roll, maybe just a raw intelligence, to see if you can like jury rig. I don't know what the non-slur version of that idiom is.
18.
Yeah, I'm gonna say if you guys can find some cloth or whatever, and you can try to like block up the exits, you can make an imperfect seal, which will give you a decreased amount of time to use it.
So who's gonna go in?
I think I was the one that was planning on it, given the fact that I put this on my face.
Good point.
Well, Alias, like once he has kind of the mask, he's going to kind of sling him, get the tank kind of held however he can, and then he's going to go back to the door frame inside of the cave.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna take a rope out of my explorer's pack and kind of like pantomime towards Alias for a second, and then go, "Oh right, you can hear me fine. We should tie this around your waist."
Oh, that sounds like a good idea.
What?
I said, that sounds like a good idea.
I think he said push. Push him in.
Violet.
I don't know about that, Violet.
I think first we should probably tie the rope around his waist.
Yeah.
I guess.
Don't push him.
I'm Team Violet.
I'm gonna tie one end of the rope around Elias's waist.
Mm-hmm.
All right, done.
Okay.
Alias sort of gives the old thumbs up, and then takes a deep breath, and then walks through the door frame.
All right. The first thing you notice on the other side of the portal, which I think we've previously discussed, but I'll accentuate it here, is that there's a surprising lack of sensation. You don't feel any heat or cold. You don't feel a breeze. There's almost like an emptiness, but it's just kind of a neutrality around you. So the air is not the only thing lacking, and you feel that, but you have the mask on, so you're not in any immediate danger, it seems like. But yeah, you step out and you feel the earth beneath you and very little else.
Alias is going to look for the nearest possible floating rock thing that he could actually reach from the ground.
There aren't any of the floating islands within. Like I said, the scale of this is hard to comprehend. It's starting to give you a headache to even look at.
Okay. I guess then what he will be doing is just sort of pressing on forward and looking down at the at the rocks that are on the ground in the area here, and he wants to see if there's any indication that something might have been mined or worked by pickaxes in the immediate area.
So survival check me.
You got it. 15.
Yeah, 15's fine. You find some gnome-shaped footprints which lead off in a direction. It's not really. You don't know what's northeast, southwest, but
right.
Left from the door.
Right. So it's in a leftish manner. He's going to need to follow these footprints or these indications of gnomes walking in a certain direction.
And with a 15, you don't get the sense that they were trying to hide their tracks or anything. It seems basically like they just kind of walked in, another day in the job. Here we go to the mines.
They likely were not assuming that people would regularly be coming in here where they were going to, do the duty, as it were, and that duty being gathering possibly whatever is in this weird plane.
Where they're gonna do the do. It's the secret Mountain Dew fountain.
That's right.
Yeah. This is where Mountain Dew comes from. You found the Dew portal.
Oh, jeez. Oh, sweet. Now we just need to find the Doritos plane, and I think we'll have. And they will just no-scope this entire campaign. All right, so.
Too late for this.
That's right.
But yeah, you follow the footprints to their natural conclusion, which is pretty far down the plane. And I say plane in just the geographical
right.
feature sense, not confirmation of any theory sense, until you get to the end of this flat ground, and there's a steep drop off, and you're now looking over a cliff on a large field of crystals, in rows and columns, like crops, and they're just in this bed far down off this cliff, and in this huge field that's just spans left to right as far as the eye can see in both directions. And there's just different kinds of crystals, huge purple ones, small green ones, medium-sized silver ones, jagged red ones, smooth brown ones.
Elias's eyes, even though no one can see them, they get wide and sort of in awe of kind of what he's seen, since it's so fantastical and crystalline. He will proceed further towards the crystals. I mean, he's going to go probably to maybe the closest ones he can find, maybe the closest silver ones in particular.
This cliff is a little too far to jump without hurting yourself. So if you're going to climb down, it's going to be an athletics check, I think.
All right. Elias is sort of it's a deep breath. It's okay, this is not going to be a problem. So you rolled a 12.
I'm going to say you make it about halfway down before you start slipping and sliding, but by that time, you're not in any danger. So when you do fall off, you just kind of bump your butt and you're like, ow, but you're fine. So then you walk over to the nearest silver crystals.
Yes.
These are the size of you. They're just big crystals, and they jut out of the ground as if they're growing out like plants, and they're just huge diamond shapes. And you feel if you put your arms around them, you could maybe hug it. But that's how big it is.
Wow. Are there fragments of the crystal laying around nearby?
You don't see any. I mean, there are fragments of other ones. I'm just saying you don't see any silver ones. But if you look around, I'm sure you see fragments of some of the other ones.
Right. Okay. What Elise will do is look around, look for the crystals that he does at least see some fragments of, and proceed to get handfuls of them and put him into his backpack as well as he can.
All right. Can you give me a Constitution saving throw?
I certainly can. 13.
13, yeah. You're starting to get a little short of breath, but you're not in immediate danger. And I want to say, I don't know how long that rope is, but it definitely would have run out when you went down this cliff. So I assume, how many ropes do you guys have? Did you tie all of your ropes together to make a super rope?
Yes.
I mean, so I'm more than 50 feet away from the portal, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So that would require quite a bit of rope to actually.
Yeah. I'm going to be honest, I just forgot about the rope.
Yeah.
So I'm like trying to backtrack and say like, okay, you guys used Johnny's rope, and then he got to the end of it, and then Vinny was like, I'll use mine, and then you tied it to it, and right?
And we can use my whip too.
But basically, you're at the end of your rope.
I'll say.
What Alias is going to do is once he gets a good amount of crystals got to gather, he's going to grab at the rope and then tug at it in like sort of like like a 1-2 tug that's not like hard enough to pull it out of anyone's hands, hopefully, but to maybe indicate, hey, pull me back up.
Yeah, everyone else roll strength, but there's 3 of you, so as long as none of you botch, you should be fine.
Am I actually holding this rope? Because I never said I was, but okay.
You don't have to.
I definitely will try to help now.
I assume you're all cooperating whenever that question is brought up. But if you want to have a standing non-cooperation,
no, Violet will definitely help. I just didn't say that like Violet tied anything to herself.
You're using your mouth.
But yes, she will sort of like bite into the rope and pull. Now,
I rolled a 9.
Yeah, 21. It's first really good roll in a long time for me.
Yeah, you guys drag his skinny ass up the side of a cliff and then over the ground, like he's trying to stand up and be like, "No, it's fine, I can walk from here," but you just keep yanking him to the ground.
He only weighs 110 pounds, mind you, so yeah, he's a lightweight to say the least.
So you drag him kicking, screaming, and gasping back through the doorway. If you want to add these to your inventory sketch, and man, you are just bogged the fuck down with shit. But you have, let's say, a smooth white crystal, a spiky red crystal, and a, let's say, round blue crystal.
Okay.
So those are shards.
So we got white, red, and blue crystals.
This assortment of crystals fills me with a love for freedom.
Fuck, I didn't even realize that. That was not deliberate.
I do not get that reference, but that's okay.
They're red, white, and blue, you dingus.
Oh, I wasn't paying attention.
We are so aware, Leon.
Well, Elise is gonna, pull off the mask he has on, gasp for breath a few times, and then just sort of remark, it looks like whatever they were doing in there had to do with these things, as he pulls out the crystals and sort of shows them to the class.
Ooh, shiny.
I saved you. Want you to know that.
I considered this to be all of you saving me, and I appreciate it.
I'm the strongest, is all I'm saying. Anyway.
Elias says that while he's just like covered in dirt and scratches from being dragged along a cliff.
Yeah, so Elias just sort of, let's see if I can sense anything about these things. So he just sort of like lays the crystals out in front of him as if he was trying to swindle someone on the streets of a busy city with their healing powers, and then does an Arcana check on them specifically.
Okay.
All right, let's see here. Is this shit magic? 15.
You do not know specifically if they're magic, but they seem to have strange properties. Like they don't seem to weigh what they should given their size. Like some feel too light, some feel too heavy. Like if you shake them, like one makes a weird noise. Yeah, they're just like weird. You don't know why. You'd have to take them to some sort of specialist or something.
Interesting. Well, that at least gives us a little insight about what they might be using to travel the way that they have been. The airships, that is. Maybe these things are used for that, but I can't say that for certain at all.
They're pretty.
They certainly are. None of them are gold, though. At least I don't think any of the crystals I saw in there were gold.
Violet licks them.
Oh, Violet, you can't just lick everything.
Constitution saving throw.
All right.
Ooh.
We're doing it. Oh, cool. I get +3 to Constitution. I'll still botch. 16.
Damn it. Yeah, you lick one of them and it tastes really, really good. It tastes like sweet like candy. It's delicious.
Violet wants to eat them now.
Don't eat them, Violet!
It's the red one. It's the most delicious thing you've ever tasted.
Oh my god, I want it.
I don't know if that's necessarily safe.
Well, we'll break off a piece. Or, well, you know what? Just save them for later.
For a midnight snack.
Break me off a piece of that weird ass crystal.
In either case, at least it sort of like rolls his shoulders, and it appears to be at least a bit of weariness. Like, I would love to investigate in there some more, but given the difficulty of breathing in there, it might take a bit more than just one quick excursion. Either way, I could stand to get a little bit of rest right now.
Let's all take naps.
Okay.
All right, so you guys know how short rests work. You roll hit die to recover health, unless you're going to sleep straight through to morning, in which case everyone can get full everything.
I'm fine with just doing a short rest, but I think Vinny has something special if we do short rests.
I do. That's what I was about to say. And Vinny is going to play the Song of Rest.
Mm-hmm.
Lullaby and good night. Go to sleep, tall friends. That's it.
Okay.
All right.
Austin, I'm just going to make a note here that I'm also going to spend 30 minutes meditating to regain my key.
Hot.
Okay.
I'm at maximum hit points as a result of all that. So
I want to do something while some of them are sleeping, though.
Mm-hmm.
I want to eat the red one.
Oh, gosh.
You dip your snoot right in Elias's bag, fish out the red crystal, and then you crunch that bad boy down.
I'm
Nice.
going to be awake while you're doing this, you know.
No, I'm sorry, but you just said you were sleeping.
I didn't say I was sleeping.
Elves don't sleep.
I don't
All
sleep.
right. Do I have to roll a stealth check to get it?
But what I can make a counter suggestion as to what can happen here. You can insist you want to eat the thing, and Elias will probably concede and try to break off a piece for you to have.
I'm sorry, but that is not what Violet wants to do.
Roll a stealth. Yeah, just roll a stealth.
I'm gonna. I'm making my own fun. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
That's.
I'm excited for you.
It's not good.
Oops.
It's 7, which isn't terrible, but it's not good at all.
Yeah, he spots you, but whether or not he can get to you before you do that, or even tries to, is still up in the air. So you're pulling the red crystal out. What do you do, Elias?
Elias just sort of like blinks at Violet's like, I if you want, I could go get another one of those after a moment, so we don't run out of them.
Violet, do you scarf that mother?
I want to say Violet eats half of it.
Okay, you munch or crunch it.
Is that good for your little horsey teeth?
Oh, probably. Oh no, this is going to be very bad. But yeah, Violet eats half of a red crystal.
Yeah, it feels like candy coated sex. It's so fucking good.
Good. Oh, okay. So nothing bad happened.
There's just just the stickiest orgy in your mouth right now.
All right. Violet sort of licks her lips, gives Elias a look, and goes, and then goes back to sleep.
Elias just rubs his head a bit and like, that was certainly weird.
Violet eats what Violet wants to eat.
It's funny, on Elias's character sheet, he's the one with the quirk that he doesn't know like what food is because he's from the Feywild, but I guess that also applies to Violet.
Yeah, I have my own definitions of what I consider food.
Mm-hmm.
And crystals typically aren't food. So
Yeah.
And also the eating habits of people. That's him. So just like, that was eating something out of someone's bag. A little weird. Maybe that's a unicorn thing though.
Oh, it's definitely a Violet thing. It's really rude. It probably is.
How wooed. So you guys all take a little nap.
Yeah.
You like apply bandages, meditate, trance. You get right with Jesus. The next, after you're done with that, Sheriff K seems a bit more lucid, and he suggests collecting mediocre Jeff on the way back to the village so you can put him to rest respectfully.
That's a good idea, Dad, but what if there are bees again?
Vinny, I've taught you better than that. Come on, we can handle a couple bees.
There was more than a couple bees.
Vinny.
And you know how, Dad, you know how I feel about bees. They're my favorite little buzzy boys. But there were like a bajillion bees.
Vinny, I'm going to need you to be a brave flower for me. Can you do that?
Okay.
Okay. Come on.
Okay.
All right.
I'm glad to see that you're doing better. You looked a little bit roughed up after that, well, the encounter with the tree and all.
You mean when it squished us?
Yes, that one in particular.
Yeah, I'm surprised you saved us, Skinny. That was some good bow work.
Oh, well, you don't get training for a few decades without getting a little competent at it, I guess.
I did good too.
I'll have to challenge you to an archery contest sometime.
That sounds like a pleasant idea, actually.
Vinny never took much to it, but it's my specialty.
I could tell.
He seems like really proud of this, like embarrassingly. Like Vinny's like, Dad, come on, Dad.
Oh, don't,
It's like how dads talk about their high school football careers.
Dad, no, you don't have to go. No, don't talk about how you won the track meet. No.
Dad.
Dad, put the trophies away, Dad.
Dad, this is not the gun show. No.
How many times can we say Dad in one episode?
Dad. All right.
All right.
So, are you guys gonna follow his suggestion and go pick up Mediocre Jeff?
That's what Vinny votes for.
Mhm.
Anybody else?
I have no qualms with this.
I follow the party, basically.
I just don't want to like take control without consulting the party. But you guys do that. Your trek back through the forest is relatively uneventful. The storm has broken. There doesn't seem to be anybody following or menacing you. Eventually, you find your way back Mediocre Jeff because Sheriff K knows these forests very well. You're never lost for even a second.
Mm-hmm.
And you guys come across that body, which is now lying on its back because Vinny flipped it over.
Can I roll nature to listen for bees?
That's perception.
Perception? Damn it. Bees are nature.
That's your knowledge of nature.
Oh, I got a 6.
You think you might hear something. You're like, wait, hold on. I don't know. I'm spooking myself.
Somebody smarter than me listen for bees.
Alright. I'm not smarter, but I'm gonna... What do I roll to listen for bees?
Perception.
Perception? Okay. 13.
I'm gonna go ahead and imagine that we're all like craning our necks at our various heights.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Alias and Violet both got 13s. Drop and Vinny got much less, but let's say the people who did well hear like a buzz or two, but not like an angry swarm.
It seems pretty normal, I suppose.
Okay.
Violet says, I hear bees.
No. Bees.
I hear some bees.
Some bees. Define some, Violet.
Look, I'm not, like, a bee expert over here. I'm just saying that I detect that there are some bees.
It's more than a few, but not as many as a lot, though. That's what you're basically saying.
Not enough to kill Macaulay Culkin and My Girl,
Right.
So we're good.
You guys squabble for so long that eventually Sheriff K just opens his mouth and starts emitting bee noises. As I've told you guys before, Kenku have perfect vocal control and can mimic any sound they've ever heard. And so he makes like bee noises for a little bit, and then you guys see a couple bees flitter out of Jeff's nose and off and away.
Oh shit, that was so cool, Dad.
It's nothing. As easy as, shooting a bow for me.
Oh no, not that again. You stop that right now.
It just comes naturally when you've been doing it for as long as I
Dad,
have.
Dad, just go pick up the body. You're the biggest one.
he like looks at the body, looks down at the like wound in his side, and is like, well.
Oh yeah. Okay, never mind.
No, it's okay. Your big, strong dad can do it. He says. He lies.
Dad. Just stop showing off, Dad. Wait, isn't one of us really muscular? I distinctly remember that.
Mm-hmm.
Glistening muscles or something.
2 of you are very strong.
I mean, I don't know of anyone in this group that's especially muscular, but I mean, they're more than welcome to declare their intention to show off the swollenness, as it were.
I'm poking the pile of goo.
Okay, so you've added that to your inventory.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
If you need, do you need me to use my mighty strength? That's all I'm asking.
Well, we're gonna put him on your back probably. So
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, yeah. Okay. Go ahead.
Vinny rolls a 14.
You guys are fully grown adults. You can drag a body up onto a horse. It's not a thing.
One would hope.
it's more that 5% chance of failure that I was rolling for.
Yeah, that could be funny. I just don't think it should take 2.5 minutes to pick up a thing.
Oh, you're right. It should take 5 minutes. No, it's kidding.
Yeah.
So
We do it. We did the thing.
Yeah, you guys put Jeff onto Violet and cart him back to town. You guys get back to the village, I guess in the wee hours, because it was like getting late when you guys had that fight, and then you explored and investigated, then you took a nap, so it was like 4 in the morning or something, and then it took like 8 hours to walk back. So it's like early, before noon. So there are people up and about in the village, but it's not like bustling or anything.
Let's go see other Dad.
yes. Elise just sort of nods and says that seems to be the best person to.
Vinny's gonna just start marching off no matter what anybody says.
Okay.
Drop is gonna ask Cardinal Stab Daddy.
Mm-hmm.
Do you guys have a shaman or a priest or a witch doctor in the village? I got an ache that I might need a little bit of help, but I don't want to bother anybody with magic or.
We have a lot of people with basic clerical training, but Vinny was really the spiritual heart of the village. She was like the spokesperson. It speaks through her, Alona in our spiral, which is why we sent her off.
Yeah.
So if she can't help you,
how long has she been doing that?
I mean, she's served Alona her whole life, but really just in the last 7 years did she really become the focal point on account of her accident.
Right. The accident.
I assume you guys are. She told you because you guys are friends.
No. What accident was that?
Oh, with the knoll.
Yeah. I guess.
He seems like kind of confused because he's not sure if he's embarrassing her by telling you this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Vinny would clear this up, but she's like too far away to hear.
Yeah, she marched off to the mayor's office.
Yeah, Elias is following closely behind Vinny and probably coaxing Violet along.
Are you like putting like the red crystal just out of reach to like lead her?
I feel if I do that, she'll just bite my hand off. That's
So Vinny's your historian, like wise woman, like.
No, she's just how churches have popular priests, like everyone loves Father Dave or whatever, she's just like our mascot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Somebody do that job while she was gone?
No, I mean, we all do our best for Alona. Alona doesn't ask much. She's a nature deity, so as long as we respect the forest and, are courteous and respectful and thoughtful, it's a pretty chill religion.
Right.
So we don't have any like elaborate rituals, or we don't make any sacrifices or any of that stuff, So we don't really need a shaman so much. But we have a couple people who know magic. I taught Vinny self-defense. I taught her to use the whip and stuff like that. But the mayor's the one who taught her to sing and to do magic and stuff. Right. He's the brains of the operation.
Right. Okay.
Are you okay there?
Yeah.
We both look like we got a little roughed up.
I live a pretty physical lifestyle.
Me too.
Kind of used to it, Just a bit of a achy back right now. I'll be fine.
Yeah, solid traps, man.
Thanks.
Your lats are sick too. Like, what is your regimen? Do you take like protein or?
Oh my god.
Not so much anymore since the hunting's kind of dried up.
You guys just talk muscle shop as you walk.
Yeah, all right.
But you do reach the mayor's office.
Plenty of flexing and counter flexing going on there in some ways.
It occurs to me this was totally not on purpose, but like when you think of fantasy worlds, you usually think of like busty wenches and succubi, and it's like in our campaign, the two women are like a short, heavy girl and a horse, and all the men are like super ripped.
Alias is not super ripped. I'm gonna make a note of this. He's a twig.
The horse is super ripped.
Yes, the
And
horse is ripped.
the guy who's built like a hero is bored all the time and just generally unpleasant to be around.
Yes,
And the other one is a bird.
yes, and right. The bird is more ripped than Alias is. That's an important point here.
I think I picture Alias is like not like in poor shape, just like not as defined as Drop in K.
So he's not like Steve Rogers from the beginning of Captain America 1 Scrawny. You're saying?
Maybe he's only 100 pounds.
He's 110 pounds, but yes, 6 foot tall, 110 pounds. That's very,
Yeah, he's
Small.
noodly.
he is.
All right, so you guys get to the mayor's office.
Mhm.
Kay and Mayor Moreno embrace. There's a big hug.
Vinny's gonna squeeze in the middle of that.
Aw, family hug. It's great. You guys share what happened. There's a little debriefing session. Nothing of particular note happens during this happy meeting in the mayor's office, but I do need Violet to roll me a Constitution saving throw.
Ooh.
Oh, shit's about to go down. This is great. All right.
It's probably because you ate that shit.
I think Violet Unicorn is gonna Skittles all over the floor.
Oh.
12. It's good.
Ooh, 12.
Not the best, but, above average.
You're just kind of standing in the back with, Jeff draped over your back. The family's hugging. Everyone's standing around being like, yeah, it's weird. And then the trees attack. And all of a sudden, the room begins to, like, shift and, like, waver a bit in front of your eyes.
Mm-hmm.
And you just kind of, like, shake your head and it goes away.
Cool. Violet says nothing of this and assumes this is just a thing.
No violent vomits or anything?
She be tripping.
No, she rolled a 12. That's above average. She holds her cookies.
Cool.
So we could go through this in character dialogue, but I think it'd be faster just to do out of character. Do you guys want to attend the deputies' funerals?
I do.
Alias will.
Violet goes with the group, so that's her plan.
Drop considers staying on his own for a little while, and then decides that it's never a good idea to split the party.
Yeah.
All right. So later in the day, there's a small but tasteful service for Deputy Jeff and Deputy Kendrick, who you guys did not actually ask who he was, but you are now informed.
That'd be the fellow that I encountered at the edge of the party, is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Vinny didn't know him super well, but, his family seems broken up about it. But they have had, like 2 days to process it because he was the first one found.
During the funeral, I want Violet to wander over to the family of Kendrick
Mm-hmm.
and say, if it makes you feel any better, I am a unicorn. and then she leaves them alone.
Well, can you roll me a Constitution saving throw?
Absolutely, I will.
Oh,
I
shit.
will keep doing them until something terrible happens. I can't wait.
This is what we call fail fishing here.
No, it's just, you don't know the metabolic process of this crystal.
No, it's cool. 11. Roughly the same thing.
Yeah, so, like, once again, as you're talking to them,
Mhm.
they begin to, like, waver and go, like, wiggly.
Mhm.
Like, the whole world is getting, like, stirred in front of you. But you shake your head and it doesn't go away. And then you shake your head and it goes away.
Cool.
And you're like, whoa. But, I mean, you're able to hold it together.
Okay.
I love a wiggly funeral.
Violet, during the funeral, after this, I want Violet to confide in Vinny and say, hey, Vinny, everything's wiggly, and I was just wondering if that's a thing that happens in this realm, or if it was something I ate.
Oh my god. Did you eat? What have you eaten?
Oh, half of a red crystal.
God, Jesus fucking Christ.
It's
You
really
just
good.
eat things from random places that we don't even know if they're, like, a place or not.
Look, I know 2 things. 1, I don't regret it, and 2, I'm scared. So,
Oh my gosh. Violet, are you tripping right now? Is that what's happening?
do you have an anti-crystal wiggle spell? I don't know if that's a thing.
I have some tummy healing, like, good for tummy herbs.
I'll take an herb.
Yeah, you will.
I'll take an herb.
I'm gonna give her all my tummy herbs.
Okay, nature check to see if it's the right herb.
Good luck.
Please quit fail. It'll be so funny. She just takes.
Oh,
The,
jeez.
She's pulling out the Poppy Bismol.
I roll a 21.
Yeah, that must be the right one.
Yeah, she hands you a handful of like really cool looking leaves, and you down those mothers, and your stomach feels like really intensely bad for like 8 seconds, and then clears right up, and you never have to worry about crystal sickness again.
Oh.
Snailed it.
You've been pepto neutralized.
Okay.
But I like to imagine this happened in the crowd at the funeral, so like Violet's like wigging out, and Vinny's like, "What are you doing? You're ruining this. This is a somber occasion."
Did the family feel better after I told them I was a unicorn?
Shit, that's a terrible thing to say to a grieving family. You want to roll persuasion?
Oh.
Yeah, I do. I do, in fact, want to roll persuasion. I want to do as much as I possibly can to endanger my character.
Yeah,
So.
An avatar of their god comes to their son's funeral and is just an insensitive asshole.
No. An avatar of their god is trying to comfort them.
But just stating your species is kind of insensitive.
They like that. 10. That's solid. It's not great. But
it's not great.
It's a completely average kind of thing.
They look more confused than anything. Like,
right.
They look at each other and like, is there like deep meaning? Is this a proverb?
Vinny's gonna roll persuasion to convince them that it is something like that.
And it's a hell of a persuasion roll.
Yeah, she's like, listen, Alona works in mysterious ways.
That always works with people.
Yep.
Yeah. So Sheriff K gets up there and says something nice about the deputies. He says that, mediocre Jeff wasn't everyone's favorite Jeff, but like he was number one in my heart.
Oh, wow.
How does Great Jeff react to that in the crowd? I'm curious.
Great Jeff is like surrounded by Jeff groupies. He looks like really cool, and they're like hanging off his arms, and he like looks aghast when he says that. He's like, I'm clearly number one Jeff. Like, let's not be crazy.
Does Shitty Jeff look even worse now?
Shitty Jeff has drunk himself into a stupor, and he's like lying in the shade of the spiral of Lorelei.
God, he's the worst one.
Just drunk as a skunk.
All right.
What about above average Jeff?
You want a full rundown of the Jeffs?
I do. I want all of them.
Okay, when the speech is happening, Violet says, a lot of people thought of mediocre Jeff as half empty, but I always thought of mediocre Jeff as half full.
Violet, shut up.
No.
Wait, is this the speech that she gives to the, like, are you taking your turn at the lectern to say that?
No, while he's talking, like, interrupting him.
Oh, Christ, muffins on a crutch. Do you want to roll persuasion for that, to not get in trouble?
Yes, I do!
God damn it.
Alias will probably step up to say something after Violet is done.
It's a 4!
The mayor grabs you by the mane and like forcefully drags you, like not making a big scene, but like this is not a negotiation. This is me removing you.
Okay. Violet does not fight back.
Yeah. Vinny stops and goes, guys, that's just how unicorns do. She really cared about mediocre Jeff, and I rolled a 19 for persuasion.
Oh yeah, damn! You saved this one. You
Rocket.
pulled her ass out of the fire. Everyone looks around and is like, "Oh, like okay, I guess I didn't know that about unicorns."
Alias sort of steps up and just sort of says, "Obviously, I have not known Jeff for very long, but he was one of the first that I ran into ever since I came here.
One of the first Jeffs.
One of the first humans I saw when I came here. And while I'm not certain that many people will say this of him, I will say that he left an impression upon me that I'll never forget about the way of the humans, the way of your people, and that is something that I will always treasure for as long as I live."
Oh.
Oh, that's surprisingly heartfelt.
Violet sort of talks to herself and looks over at Shitty Jeff and says, I bet Shitty Jeff is one of those assholes who spells it Geoff.
Considering the amount of funerals that Drop has been to, he's actually kind of like amazed at how inefficiently this one is done.
Jesus, get up your funeral game, birds.
Drop going up and just saying, as an expert at these things, I just want to say that on a scale of 1 to 10, this funeral is as mediocre as the Jeff that is in this coffin.
Oh, no. Drop has far too much wisdom
I know.
to actually stand up and say anything at this funeral.
I'm aware of that. So, just
Lavinia, do you want to say anything before we wrap the scene up?
No.
You were the closest to him.
That's true. I did know Jeff. Okay, I want to say that I knew Jeff, and he was a pretty okay Jeff. And he will be missed by all of us, except for maybe shitty Jeff, because he's really shitty.
You hear from the back, "Fuck you!"
Fuck you too, Jeff!
Great Jeff goes, "Yeah, fuck you, shitty Jeff."
I'm gonna high five Great Jeff.
Yeah, you high five Great Jeff, and it's like, you don't know how, but it feels amazing.
Damn, that was a good high five. This is why you're the best, Jeff.
He gives you finger guns, which have no context in a fantasy world, but you like them.
But yeah, Jeff was really good, and that's it. And Vinny's gonna leave before she fucks it up anymore.
All right. So, as you know, the ceremony winds down and stuff. At some point, Vinny, you come across your dads, not arguing, but talking in kind of like serious, heightened voices. And as you get closer, you realize they're arguing about what to do with you now that this is over.
Excuse you, Papas.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a grown-up.
Mm-hmm.
You don't do anything with me.
Young lady, you are not going anywhere
No.
without me.
Which Papa is this?
This is Cardinal Stab Daddy.
But who's gonna keep the village safe? Not Dave. I guess Dave could keep the village safe. And Dave.
nice and Dave.
Did Dave get elected mayor? I think not.
There's something I want to do, but I'll wait until this conversation is over. I just want you to know that something is happening with Violet as we speak.
Okay.
Papa, you're really, really smart and good at stuff, but other Papa is much stronger than you.
Yeah, and that's why he's going, and I'm staying.
And who's gonna be the muscle?
Listen, Vinny, we all have our gifts and talents in life. I run this village. It's what I was born to do. I'm the best at it, and it's what I'm going to continue to do until the waters take us. Sheriff K, your father, he's very good at all kinds of other stuff, and he can be very helpful. He wants to go, and he wants to protect you, and I support him.
I can't say no, because even if I say no, he's just gonna do it anyway, because, you know.
Yep, and you see he picks up his rucksack, which was behind a tree, and it's full of supplies, and you see he has his bow and his quiver, and he hands you a box of like medical supplies.
He has 50 issues of Kenku Illustrated, you know.
And he's like, "Show me this boat."
Okay, well, we should probably tell the rest of everyone else, and that'll be a fun surprise. Also, it's gonna be really fun for you to meet our new friends.
I always love meeting friends.
Oh, gosh.
Especially your friends, Vinny. You're such a great judge of character. All your friends are such good people.
Oh, jeez. Well, I should probably tell you about that.
All right, let's cut over to Violet, see what's up with her.
Yeah, what's up with that?
Oh, she's asking Shitty Jeff for a drink.
All right. Yeah, what does a horse drink?
Same thing you do, Shitty Jeff.
Oh, yeah, horse likes to party. He just, like, tilts your head back a little roughly and just starts, like, fucking beer funneling you.
Do I notice this?
I mean, you can walk up as it's happening, but yeah, he's just, like, pouring mead
happening.
after mead.
Violet, no!
It's too late. It's in my belly.
No!
There's so much in it.
Violet's smashed by the time you're able to intervene.
I smack Shitty Jeff.
That's one drunk horse.
Yeah. Shitty Jeff runs away, and as he was running, he yells over his shoulder, "It's pronounced Geoff!" And he disappears.
Okay. Are we still in a graveyard? Like, I'm trying to figure out where we are right now.
No, you guys are like
in town.
You can see it. You can see the service in the distance, but you stepped respectfully to the side.
Okay, fair enough.
All right.
I'm gonna take a moment to address the group.
Oh, okay.
Kind of like get out in front of everybody and raise my hands and say, "Okay, everybody.
1, 2, 3, all eyes on me."
I hate I hate to be such a killjoy, even though I'm apparently really good at it, but I sort of feel like what we actually came here to accomplish is not been accomplished.
Oh, I totally agree with that. So,
But maybe if we bring the crystals back to Joan, she can tell us which ones are the right ones, and then we can go get more.
You mean the 3 2.5 crystals?
he then pulls out the 3 or 2.5 crystals from his pack.
Violet, Constitution saving throw.
Sure.
Damn it.
Always.
Always.
I'm always down for, something that will end badly.
Come on, 5% chance.
16.
Oh,
Solid.
dear.
You're feeling drunk, but not drunk enough to just grab that crystal out of Elias's hand and eat it, which is what I was hoping you'd roll for. Your roll would result in.
I can still do it.
Yeah, you definitely can. I'm just saying you're not drunkenly compelled to.
Okay.
I just want to say one thing out of character. Normally I wouldn't, but Lavinia, did you forget about getting Ziggy a staff?
I did.
So I'm reminding you, this pops into your head because otherwise you're going to get back to the boat.
He don't be pissed.
He's going to ask you, and then you're going to run back, and we're just going to waste 10 minutes.
Hey, Dad. Smart Dad. Not strong Dad.
Wow, so mean.
You know we don't like it when you say that.
You're both smart and you're both strong. It's just one smarter and one stronger. You guys know it.
Yes, Vinny.
Do you know where I could get a staff? That I could just, keep and have and maybe give to somebody?
That sounds oddly specific. I mean, you could always take a branch from the spiral.
You think that would work? For magic?
If anything is going to, yeah, it's full of magic.
Okay.
You're going to go over and break a branch off?
I'm gonna hug the tree and let it know what's going on first.
Mm-hmm. I mean, you hug the tree and you feel warmth and you communicate that to it, and it doesn't seem like you don't feel surprise or anything. It just feels like you're just giving information to a tree.
Yeah. I'm trying not to be considerate.
Mm-hmm.
So I take a branch.
All right. Yeah, you snap a branch off, and since you're making contact with the tree, I'm going to say before when you took your whip and your lute, it was some kind of ritualized process. Maybe you were sitting in front praying and someone else did it. This time you snap the branch off and you feel like a shooting pain for just a second.
Ow!
And that's it. Now you have a branch.
That was weird.
All right. You guys going to go back to the boat?
The violet one? Sure.
Yeah.
The ship, the prequel, the sequel, the game, the movie.
I'm gonna lag behind for a moment.
Mm-hmm.
In kind of because I get the impression that Drop is always sort of the last one to move.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So as inconspicuously as possible, I'm gonna lag behind near the mare when everybody starts to set off.
Violet can't notice things right now.
Once they're out of earshot, I'm gonna turn to the mare and say, "Your daughter's a lovely person, but I kind of get the impression that something happened to her."
You mean the accident?
Yeah. Could you tell me about that a little bit?
I mean, it happened about 7 years ago. We were just kind of minding our own business, and some ruffians came through, and we all thought they were attacking, trying to steal from us or something, but I don't know. It was weird. It's like they just kind of moved through, and Vinny went to confront one of them at the tree. I think it was some sort of a cat person, dog person or something, and it killed her. But Alona, in her infinite wisdom and grace, brought her back to us, and she looks a little different. She's a little bit more magical, but she's still our Vinny.
Different,
The leaves, the leaf hair, the skin color,
Right. So that's new.
Yeah, relatively.
Right.
Is that okay?
Yeah? Why does everybody call it the accident?
Oh, I mean, it's just a polite way of saying my daughter was murdered and brought back to life.
Mm-hmm.
If you have a snappier name for it.
Nothing that would spin as well.
I would say the branching.
Yeah?
I mean, you say that she looks different, but, I mean, her personality, everything's the same as it used to be. It's not.
Yeah, in my estimation.
Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Is she, aging differently, or nothing?
I haven't really thought about it. I guess I would say she hasn't really aged much. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
her mother used to live here. She looked pretty young. I think maybe it's just genetics, Just got good young genes.
Right.
I don't know. I'm going to be honest, humans kind of all look the same. A little bit in the face region.
Drop sort of looks at himself and goes, yeah, I guess we kind of do.
Off in a different scene, Elias is just sort of mentioning sideways to the other people he's walking with. You know, I've noticed, thinking about mediocre Jeff, all these humans have a tendency to look way too similar to each other. It's kind of weird. And then cuts back to the other scene.
Violet is singing Tub Thumpin' by Chumbawamba.
Cool.
Of course.
Elias, did you break that vial that Joan gave you?
I did now. Sorry about not remembering that.
All right. So you guys wait at the water's edge for a while after you break the vial, and just as you're starting to worry about her not showing up, you do see the ship in the distance. Drop, was that conversation over and you joined the party, or did you want to finish up?
More or less, yeah.
Okay. You catch up with everyone else. Eventually the ship stops getting closer, and you guys have to kind of like swim out to it, and some ropes are dropped over the side. And you do see Ziggy up at the top, like with his hand outstretched to haul you onto the ship.
Ziggy!
One thing you notice about him is he has changed out of his kind of wizard robes. He was kind of wearing a simple wizard outfit before, and he is now wearing that Navy uniform, which has been like tailored to fit him. You assume that's how they amused themselves while they were waiting for you, is they made this like Napoleonic Navy uniform fit the frog.
Oh, you look so stately, Ziggy.
He looks really crisp and handsome.
For a frog.
For a frog, yeah. Yeah, he helps you guys all up on the deck. It's just him up there.
I'm gonna cast Comprehend Languages as a ritual.
It takes 10 minutes, so you're singing and dancing up on deck for 10 minutes.
Yeah, it happens.
Actually, he sees you're carrying the branch, and he holds a hand out for it.
I give it to him.
He just uses a spell slot to cast tongues, so you guys can speak to each other instantly now.
Hey, Z-Man, Ziggs, the Zigginator.
Is that also my name?
It can be. It's their terms of affection for you specifically.
Thank you. They all sound like noise to me, but I appreciate the sentiment.
I got you this branch. It's part of my sacred tree. I think it'd probably work pretty good as a staff.
Seems to be working just fine.
You look so dashing.
I'm not running anywhere.
Very, very good. You look good. Nice uniform. Good job.
Thank you. Joan worked hard on it.
Where is she?
I think she's below deck. The sun does not agree with her.
Oh, yeah. Oh, also, this is my dad.
He saw him, but he was like just trying not to process it because it's kind of frightening. He says, his form confuses me. How is he your father if he is a bird?
He adopted me.
I understand, but I remain frightened and confused.
Oh, he's cool. He's fine. He's good. He's our friend. And he's very strong.
He looks very strong.
Hey, Dad!
Oh god, I have to do so many voices. Is this your friend, Vin?
Yeah, this is Mr. Ziggy Ribbits. He is a frog, and he knows magic.
All right. They're starting to get acquainted. You guys...
Wait, did we get everything we can possibly get from this place?
You got an ally, and you are now aware of a strange portal, and you have some rocks, some crystals, and you don't quite know the value of them yet.
But we can always come back if we have to.
And a little information
Yeah.
about the woman supposedly named Joan.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And Dr. Sherry, maybe some dirt on her, maybe something about Lavinia. There's a lot of balls in the air right now.
Yep.
Plus, I got drunk and also indigestion.
Yeah. I guess Violet's the last one on the ship, and she like grips the rope with her teeth, and everyone has to like band together to pull her up. And they pull her like up over the over the railing and flop her down on the deck, and she just lays there for a while, just like too drunk to stand.
All right, Violet says, "Captain's here. Captain's on deck." And she puts on her hat.
Nope, the hat was torn and left in the forest.
God damn it, that's right. It's gone. All right. She says, "Bring me a new hat."
I don't think we have any more hats.
Make one. Make a hat.
I'm just gonna put a leaf on her head.
Yeah,
Okay.
she's got nothing left.
All right, so you guys gonna go below deck?
Yep.
Yo, yeah.
So you guys like bustle on down the staircase below deck. You see Joan sitting at a table. And she seems to be making another one of those vial necklaces that she gave Elias.
Hi, Joan.
Little Leaf, Book Boy, Horse.
Other guy.
Yeah, Sad Boy. I'm going to call you Sad Boy. We did not have rapport previously, but you are now Sad Boy.
Fine.
Okay. I am glad you approve. So, how did it go? Where to next?
Well, in terms of how it went, seemed to have come across, among other things, these, as Elias pulls out the crystals to show them to Joan.
Yeah, I mean, I assume you just tell her what happened.
And as to where we shall go next, Elias then looks over to Drop. Is there a problem with heading to the Tiger Mountains at this point?
None that I've been informed of.
I mean, you know, you're not aware of any. For as far as you know, like the Tiger Mountains is where the monastery is. Is at the foot of the mountains is where your hometown was, and further in the mountains is where an army camp is.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Ooh, we're gonna go to the mountains? I've heard there's cool animals that live there.
All right, I will tell you what I know. We will pool our information if Violet would like to take the wheel, if that is where we are going.
Violet says, I'm good to drive.
Oh, jeez.
Drunk horse driving.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like she's a little sobered up by now. It was a long walk.
Between that and you had tummy troubles already because of the crystal, so it's just like your whole chemical system is not in a great shape.
Alright, well still, she's the only one who can sort of do it, so she's in.
Well, Vinny has vehicle proficiency, so he could probably hold it down until Violet feels better.
They can work together, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not going to make you guys drunkenly crash.
Okay. Alright, that's cool.
So most of the party goes back up above deck. Violet to turn the ship around. Vinny to spend time with her dad. Drop presumably to meditate or do whatever sad, lonely stuff Drop does. But basically, Elias and Joan are left alone below deck.
Mm-hmm.
She gets up from the table where she was working and puts the new vial necklace around his neck. She seems pretty friendly and happy to see him. But this is the point where I think listeners are pretty curious, and I know I, as the DM, am also curious if there's going to be any sort of confrontation, because you guys came across, I don't know if it's info or,
Mm-hmm.
you guys came across something maybe potentially worth a heated argument. Like this, the party is strangely cooperative. Like the first season is kind of
Notably more, and not necessarily antagonistic, but I would say to some degree, some of the motivations were fairly self-serving between the party members, but self-serving in a way that prevented them from cooperating, I guess.
Yeah, I would say season 1 was defined by intra-party conflict. In season 2, it's basically been harmony, except for one instance where Elias kind of snapped at Vinny for being so cavalier about her information sharing.
Yeah.
So this is kind of a pivotal moment. Is Elias going to confront Joan? Because I don't think anyone else in the party would. Like, Violet is very airheaded, Vinny's non-confrontational, Drop keeps to himself. So if anyone was going to do it, it would be Elias. But also, in that scene where Elias kind of, rebuked Vinny, he was on the side of like, let's keep our cards a little closer to our chest. Let's be, more clever about this kind of stuff. So I also could see an argument for just acting like everything's normal. But I think as listeners are hearing this episode, they're like, is this going to happen? So now is a good time to address that.
I think for the time being, I think we'll see in the scene kind of the way Elias is managing how he was interacting with Joan and the others is important. So right now, he's not really doing anything with regards to stir the pot, so to speak, while he probably isn't going to refute the information that was revealed via Vinny's exchange with Dr. Sherry. He also does not feel like it is important to act on it at its time because there's no advantage to gain from it. It's basically what I'm seeing from my standpoint.
Cool. So you're basically gonna play it Bogart.
Right.
It's not written in stone. You could always come back and address it if it feels right. But yeah, I think that's a smart move. I think there's a lot of situations where you just enter this and just start yelling and throwing punches. But I feel like it fits with Elias's characterization to just kind of wait and see.
He's not the type to eat the red crystal, based on impulse.
Yeah. But that's cool. It leaves some mystery. I think you guys are really pulling on a lot of threads. There's a lot of questions, a lot of mysteries right now, and there's no need to rush to any of them. So I like that. So let's say, everyone goes about their business. Drop's meditating, Violet's steering, Vinny's hanging out with her dad, and we're going to flash to these scenes. I think we're going to have Lavinia's scene next, and then next episode will begin with Drop and Violet's. So over the next day or so, I assume you guys are going to take some time to practice magic?
Yeah, pretty much. Basically, he will spend time practicing magic as it is, but he will take some time to practice magic and reflect on, basically sort of do another personal debriefing of how things worked over around Spira and such. So, and that's basically what it amounts to. So,
yeah, I assume all the supporting NPCs are updated on the situation and everything. I like to think that you guys are like practicing somatic hand gestures. You're doing like
right.
So paint me that picture. This is your level up. Obviously, you're still a rogue. You're reaching a level 3 rogue. But as everyone listening is going to find out, level 3 is where most classes kind of commit to a style.
Right.
And so there are several different kinds of rogues. There's the thief and there's the assassin. Both of those are a little dark for Alias. And the third is the arcane trickster. So how does that work and how does that play in this scene?
Alias will most likely be below deck in one of the spaces that could be considered a room. And he has his books kind of set around a table. He has various things kind of set up, and he is most likely coming across some information in one of the damaged but still readable books about magic that talks about mainly the way that a common cantrip can not only be executed but manipulated for particular purposes. This is, of course, the cantrip Mage Hand. The main difference between how a wizard may use Mage's Hand and someone with perhaps ill intent or otherwise is that the latter not only knows how to conceal the presence of the hand, but is also able to manipulate objects with it in a more finely tuned manner, a way that represents the way their own hands are finely tuned to manipulating things in a subtle or discreet manner.
You think you're alone when you master Mage Hand?
He's basically what he's amounting to is he has sort of like he's sort of doing like trying to do like the something like a Jedi mind trick of sorts. He has like sitting at the table. He has like like a small pouch, not necessarily filled with no gold, but just filled with some things kind of on a small stool a little bit ways away, and he's sort of reaching out for it as if he's trying to grab at it, even though it's probably a good 15 feet away from him, and focusing, and then trying to see if he can draw the bag closer to his own hand. So he's just focusing on it, but there might be some problems because for some reason he's not quite able to manipulate it in the way that he's hoping.
All right, so yeah, you basically get like the first gasp of functional magic, and maybe the hand appears for a second, like grabs at it,
right,
disappears, appears, pulls it a couple inches, disappears, and you hear Joan walking up behind you, giving you like a polite little like.
Hello, Joan.
You almost got it. You're making great progress.
It's still not really making sense. It feels like I'm just able to reach out and touch it, but as soon as I realize what's going on, it's ends up like my mind gets distracted by the fact I'm doing it, and then it goes away.
Yes, it is paradoxical. You need both great concentration, but also to free your mind from the physical acts you are performing. It must become muscle memory. And she's behind you. She like reaches over, puts her hand on your hand, and like the familiar way people do in like rom-coms when they're teaching someone to do golf or whatever.
Right.
And she basically like takes you through the motions again, and like silently you guys practice it until you have a functional Mage Hand and you're able to move the bag across the table.
Right. And as the bag moves, the hand that is the Mage's hand that is grasping it sort of goes from being spectral in appearance to being invisible, and then it almost appears like the bag is floating as if by telekinesis or something, as it then just drops into Elias's outstretched palm.
Ooh, very fancy.
It's something I read about how this spell can be made even more useful than it already is.
Pretty soon, I will have very little to teach you.
I mean, how much more magic do you know, out of curiosity, Joan?
When you are a noble in Drow society, you must have a cursory knowledge of many different disciplines. You must shoot bow, you must swing sword, you must do magic, you must know negotiation, economics, etiquette. You gain very much breadth, but not very much depth, if you understand.
So it sounds... Wait. I don't think I remembered you mentioning earlier that you were a noble.
Yes, is nothing important, nothing to bring up.
I see. Well, I suppose there are a few other spells I've been trying to work on myself, and I think I might have a way to make these work properly now, given what you've just shown me. So Elias then just sort of settles for a moment, takes the bag and opens it and reveals the inside of it actually has various what seem to be basic material components. And Joan likely would recognize the spell that these components are mainly used for. The spell would be Find Familiar in this case.
Ooh.
This is one I want to work on next, though, from what I've read. Unlike the Mage's Hand, which conjures almost in an instant, this will take a good hour of time to cast off. But assuming that it works, I shall have yet another asset to work with in our upcoming excursion. The big thing is that the spell, once cast, the familiar is persistent until either I dismiss it or it drops to 0 hit points. So that's the nice thing about it as a summon.
So Elias is going to get a new friend.
Yes, he is going to get a new friend. He sort of gets the item set up, and he gets a little brazier set up to place the components into. Mentions, I'm curious as to how treacherous the Tiger Mountains will be, but something tells me that that was the best place for us to move to next, given what we know so far.
I was curious about that. Your friends do not seem, how do I say, as thoughtful as you. They look to you for clever thinking.
To be honest, I never thought about it that way. I just sort of am acting on, well, I suppose what the humans would call it would be instinct, if only because as much as I don't like to rush things at all, the circumstances don't really permit much time for contemplation. When I first came here, I couldn't believe it when I was told that the world was being flooded, as it were. None of my information would have suggested that it'd be even possible. And ever since then, I've been nervous about the well-being of myself as well as, others, both on this ship and those in places like Spira. I must admit I felt rather saddened when I saw the state the people in Lavinia's hometown were. They seemed desperate, downtrodden, abandoned, and lost.
And it is your instinct to help these people?
I suppose in my case, I've never had to be in a situation where there was something happening around me and I was helpless to do anything about it. I've at worst was, as some people might say, helpless to the fact that I was merely helping my family with their respective trades and the such. But aside from that, I didn't feel like all of a sudden my family and everyone I knew would be washed away in an endless ocean. So I don't know. I don't know why I'm so intrigued in helping the citizens of Spira, but they just seemed like they needed help and they needed some form of hope.
I do not understand, but I am curious, and I look forward to seeing where this takes you. I know this feeling of helplessness, and it has always been my instinct to do what is best for me. So,
What? Well, while that may be true, I'm not sure what is best for me at this time.
hmm.
So, as long as I can keep myself as safe as I can, have a method for getting out of the situation we're currently in, and otherwise, I might as well be doing some extra bits of work on the side, I suppose.
All right, so with that conversation happens, there's some small talk, and eventually, after an hour and 10 minutes, you complete the Find Familiar ritual.
Some of the forms that the familiar can appear in are like hawk, raven, owl, and otherwise. I was curious if it would be possible to have the familiar be a magpie as opposed to those other bird types.
Mm-hmm. Of course. Joan seems visibly delighted when that happens.
Well, at least it's sort of surprised when sort of this blue, white, and black bird sort of just appears on the table before him, and at least it almost doesn't seem to believe that such a thing could have been just conjured like that. He then sort of just offers out a hand and a finger for the familiar to hop onto.
Are you going to give it a name?
I plan on it, though I might need a moment or two to think of what name might be best for him. He just sort of regards the magpie and closes his eyes for a moment, only to realize that with a small bit of focus, he's able to see his own face through the familiar's eyes, causing him to sort of almost kind of step out of that state of deep thought. That's another thing these can do. Stammers a little bit, looking back down at the bird. This should hopefully be useful for myself and maybe for the rest of us. And then he reaches with his other hand to pat over the magpie's head.
Pat, good burb.
Good burb, that's right. I hadn't thought of the name for the bird yet, so I suppose the obvious one that he could go with would be just to name it Job.
That is a good one.
Named G-O-B.
I do like how you have to think long and hard about giving a name to basically like a spectral bird.
Yep.
And you just basically decided in an instant what the next leg of this dangerous quest would be. There's like a total disconnect between like the weight of decisions and the amount of thought that goes into them, which is very Dice Funk.
Alias was thinking about which place to go to while everyone was going back to the ship. He almost wasn't expecting this spell to work, so he hadn't even thought of, wait a minute, I should be giving this thing a name. So, like, I think Alias sort of will ponder it for a bit more. It says, I think your name shall be Job. Do you think that name will work well for you? He asks the familiar, forgetting that familiars can actually communicate with their spellcasters telepathically. Also, and if it's an added sort of layer of colorization, the magpie is a fey creature as opposed to being a beast. So
yeah, so it's not really an animal, it just looks like one.
Fey conjuration that is in the form of a magpie, and it can behave, it can act, it has all the trappings, and for most appearances it looks like a regular magpie. Aside from that, it is a regular bird to most people, especially as it sort of hops off of Elisa's hand, goes over somewhere on the table where there might have been, let's say, some seeds or other rations, and just sort of pecks at it of its own accord.
So with Elias leveled up and Joan not confronted on any of the intel you guys have gathered, you have your magic, you have your familiar. We've discussed Elias's decision about the next leg of the quest. I think the final scene of this vignette is Joan whistling at the little magpie like, I can't even whistle. Nope, can't do it. She whistles at the the finals is her whistling at the magpie and trying to get its attention, and she like holds out a finger for it to land on, and you have control over it. So does it go to her?
Glances over and then just flies over and lands on Joan's finger.
Would you share senses with this bird in addition to just being able to see out of its eyes?
Basically, if I allow myself to become blind and deaf for a moment, it basically allows me to see and hear through the familiar, as well as sense anything that it could sense in addition to sight and sound.
So the last thing before the scene fades out is her petting it. Do you do that? Do you become like attenuated to its senses?
Elias will sort of glance at it and just sort of close his eyes to think on some matters before realizing that he's again sort of seeing things through the magpie's eyes and hearing things from the magpie's ears.
So yeah, the last thing is Elias loses himself a little bit, and you feel like Joan petting the bird, and it's nice and it's calming and it's safe. But then you do feel the ring of Lolth, not jab, but like you feel it touch the bird,
Yeah.
just like being pet, and
Yeah.
then suddenly, oops,
Mm-hmm.
there's that ring. So the scene shifts then to our next character development / leveling up scene, which will be Lavinia, who has reached level 3. And what bards get at level 3 is a choice between two, they're called colleges, but obviously Lavinia does not have time to actually earn a degree.
Fuck school.
Whoa. Bernie never would have let this happen.
Oh no.
They're the College of Valor and the College of Lore, which basically means, do you want to be a fighting bard or do you want to be a smart bard? And you have picked the College of Lore, correct?
Yes, too small to fight.
Too small, too fragile.
Little cupcake.
The tiniest confectionery. So over the scene we're going to play out now is basically you getting your stuff for leveling up and spending some time with your dad, who, I mean, the last time you saw him before this recent adventure was when you left your village expecting never to see him again, right?
Right.
So this must be emotional. You were like, all right, I'm going to go to the new world and leave you guys behind. You're all going to drown to death. Bye. And then it's like a week later, he almost dies in your arms, and now you're on an adventure. So a lot of things going on for Lavinia now.
Too small for feelings.
Big feelings, small shrub.
In a tiny package.
Basically, this journey is going to take a couple days. There's a couple of scenes I wanted to get to, just as we had Alias practice his spells over a couple of days, have a couple of conversations with Joan. I imagine like a series of vignettes between Lavinia and Sheriff.
Vignettes. Yeah,
Vignettes. Oh God, we did it. Perfect pun achieved. And Sheriff K, who I assume she just calls K, or Dad.
Dad. Daddy. Mayor Dad is Papa, because he's smart. I don't know, he's fancier.
Mm-hmm. Is this episode just going to be called Dad?
Dad! Probably. You should just call it Dad with like 20 A's.
Okay. Agreed. But I think the first thing he does is unpack some of the stuff Mayor Moreno sent you guys off with, like a little care package. I mentioned before he gave you some medical supplies. You guys have Band-Aids now, I guess generic brand, so bandages.
The good shit.
Maybe he made you like a little picnic. What's Vinny's favorite food?
Hibiscus flowers.
She just eats flowers?
Yes.
Did she eat flowers pre-accident, or is this new?
Like, she may have nibbled from time to time, because she was weird, but she wasn't, like, full-on eating flowers. Now she's just like, give me those sweet, sweet petals.
Is Vinny a vegetarian? We've never discussed this.
Yes.
Cool. We also mentioned, I think this came up on the forums, which the link to that is in the description of the Patreon and on iTunes and stuff. We never really brought it up, but I guess, do you want to address Vinny's sexuality?
Oh, she's bi. She's real heckin' bi.
Okay, because dryads are notoriously thirsty creatures in literally every respect.
Oh, yeah. Shit's been going down, so she hasn't had time to turn the thirst factor up, but it's there, lurking underneath.
She's definitely drooled over drop a time or two, and she's expressed interest in the romantic lives of Joan and Elias and Sherry, so it's not come across. I just think you have to be kind of listening closely.
Yeah, nothing, like, explicit.
Mm-hmm.
Yet.
Nice. So you guys are having your little flower feast. I imagine there's some seeds in there for Kay.
Yeah, whatever. Maybe some worms or something. I don't know. Whatever birds eat.
Yeah, some gourmet worms. The good shit. Them big fat earthworms. Them wrigglers.
No, not the wiggler. What the fuck are those?
Mm-hmm. But I want to say in the packed material that the mayor left for you, there's some sheet music for some new songs. He's the one who taught you music, and he's the one who taught you magic. So I think he probably like leaves a cute little note in there for you. It's like, I think you're ready for these Spells, go get them. Make me proud. And so the spells you've gotten for your new bard level are invisibility, which speaks for itself, and calm emotions, which is like if someone is grumping on you, if things are getting dicey, you can kind of be like, whoa.
Calm your tits.
Clam those tits right up.
And it's not just if like one person, it's like a whole crowd.
So yeah, I mean, there's some utility here. Like you're definitely taking spells that are like gonna give you creative solutions as opposed to just, fireballs.
Yeah.
I like that.
I also feel like fireballs in general will be bad for Vinny, because,
Yeah. We haven't really discussed that, but I wonder if she takes extra damage from fire. I bet.
Oh, fuck, I shouldn't have said anything.
Yeah.
You would have thought of that eventually, you're smart.
So you guys have that cute little picnic scene, and then we cross fade into a later scene. And I think the sheriff says to you, "Hey Vin, I've been thinking about something. Can I talk to you for a moment?"
You can always talk to me, Dad.
That's good. I've just been thinking about how you called us smart dad and strong dad.
Oh,
I know you're just joking, but it's something I think about a lot, and I want to be open with you
Oh.
about, I think we're close and we can talk. And it's just I have a lot to offer, Vinny. There's so many things I wanted to teach you, and I didn't think I would have time. And now there's more time, so I just want to make sure we don't waste it.
Dad's school. Going to dad's school.
Dad's school?
Dad's school.
Dad's school. So, you didn't really take to the bow?
I don't like hurting things, Not physically, anyway.
Yeah. I know you don't seem really interested in bodybuilding or tracking or any of the things that I'm really interested in. But I do think I have things to offer, Vin. I noticed it seems like you have plenty of good ideas. You seem like I think you're a clever girl, Vinny, even if you don't think it. And I don't think you assert yourself enough. I see the way you interact with your friends, and they're nice, but I feel like sometimes you let people walk all over you. And I think one thing I can teach you is to take charge and use your natural charisma in your favor. I think you can be a leader, Vinny.
Even though I'm very small, and sometimes my head's kind of fuzzy.
Just because people look down on you physically doesn't mean they can't look up to you in your enormous spirit that towers over everybody.
Oh, geez, you're so smart, Dad.
All right, so lesson number 1. Straighten up your posture. You're slouching. It makes you look even smaller than you already are. You gotta straighten up. Your dad is super embarrassing, Vinny.
I know. Okay, Vinny does the same. Like this?
Exactly. You gotta make people believe you have authority, and then you can project it more easily. It's all about confidence, Vinny.
Okay, if you say so. I guess Violet's really confident, and that seems to work out okay for her.
Violet is a sweet child, but I don't know if all her marbles are there. But people assume she knows what she's talking about, and that's because she carries herself with confidence. That's what I want for you, Vinny.
Okay, I'll do my best.
All right, and then there's like a montage of like he pulls out a blackboard and he's pointing at it with like cool tips about like how to win friends and influence people because you've taken some bard skill, some extra skill proficiencies, and you did that mostly in charisma for deception and persuasion and stuff. So basically, he's using his natural machismo and confidence to teach you to be more charismatic, which is giving you those charisma skills. So now you're proficient in those.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, bards are good at stuff. So you get for being a level 3 bard, you get some spells and you get some skills, and now you've got those. So before we close out, I want to have one more scene with these two nerds, and that is Kay. Kay feels bad about talking behind your friend's back, and he wants to make it up to Violet, and he says, "Vinny, do you still have those paints that we got you for your birthday?"
Of course I do. They're my favorite thing ever.
I have an idea for a painting project. Do you want to help me?
Ooh, what is it? What is it?
Smash cut to Kay holding you upside down by the ankles over the side of the boat as you paint over the words Glitter Gold 9 with like a bottom layer, and then over it the Violet 1.
And there's little like flowers and smiley faces surrounding the name Violet 1.
Yeah, I mean it's magic paint, so it can be like a GIF if you want, because it like sparkle.
Yes,
and
it is. It is. It's the most girly, flamboyant ship title ever.
Is there anything else you want to do? Like, this is a painting project that you guys did to, spruce it up, but also to impress Violet.
I paint a tiny unicorn on it. She's gonna love that.
Just a tiny one?
Just like a little one.
Nice.
Just like a little bitty one.
But the whole rest of the outside of the ship is still the normal color, right?
Yes.
You guys just basically did this cool, like, you almost like tagged it.
Yeah, basically.
Like street art. I love it. So after you're done, he pulls you up on deck, and you guys, you're like, whew, that was a good afternoon, a good bonding activity. And Sheriff K turns to you and he says, while I was holding you and just letting my mind wander, something occurred to me. And remind me if I've forgotten something obvious. But didn't you find a letter when we were in the woods? I was, in and out, but I seem to remember you finding a letter.
I don't remember finding a letter.
It was written in Gnomish?
Oh, yeah, the gnome letter that nobody could read.
Gnomelish?
Gnomelish. Gnomian. Nomian. Okay, yeah, that.
Vinny, you were telling me about how you talked to your frog friend. Don't you have a comprehend language spell?
I do. Does that work on written writing? I've never tried it.
Hey. You want to find out? Big thanks to Overclock Remix, both for our theme song, Thunderstruck, an arrangement of Windmill Hut from The Legend of Zelda, and Dream Meter Mix, an arrangement of Lavender Town from Pokemon. Executive producers for the month of August 2016 are Joseph Tombrello, Kirsten Haslinger, Ingmar Gremmen, Jade, The Cult of Gorfanax, Extellaris, King Waza, Allison Ansell, Luke Powers, Tarka, Michael Goodell, Wayne Witzke, Brent, Neil, Trenton, Melanie Joe, Lana Seawolf, Toby Gleason Stack, Silken Guns, Matthew Weber, Emmanuel Garcia, Sarah Hanley, Melissa Booker, Keith Snyder, Cameron Abbas, Ariel Badger Release, Zenith Will Rule, Exley, Gary Zayon, Dash on the Rage Monster, Carl, Harrison Andrew, Paul Mullen, Jorrit, Viger Arnston, Anna Stolfarer, Dylan, Giorgio Renna, Christopher Charlo, Cody Jackson, August Rue, Mirren Bati, and Taylor Hoyt. You can support the show directly by becoming a patron at patreon.com/AustinYorski. You can support Leon by going to patreon.com/RenegadeCut or subscribing to his YouTube channel. And you can support Lauren directly by visiting her Etsy shop, to which you can find a link in her Twitter profile. If you want to help indirectly, you could always like, comment, subscribe, or review us wherever you found the show, or just tell a friend.